So here's, once again, an axial system, and one that we looked at the beginning of this conversation about the type systems. And when I did this, it had more of a wireframe like form to it. So I just stacked the text directly over the boxes, how it would be. I removed the wireframe components and just left the text in its place. So you can see that I took the elements and started playing with tipping the text around, started playing with the scale of it, started playing with the value structure within the text. By rotating the text, you can create almost implied radial system as well. It almost looks like these are radiating around a hypothetical circle here, or radiating from a hypothetical circle there. Some other things that you might want to play with. Let me launch my type panel and open up the options. So a couple of things you might want to play with. We can also play with the tracking of the text, and that also alters the textural quality of it. We can play with different font weights. We can play with different font sizes and scale. And remember, we're basically striving for some sort of random or controlled chaos within the system, with the idea of making it unexpected and visually interesting. So I'm just basically playing with different variables within this structure to make this a little bit more visually interesting. So, we could also do with, apply an italic to it. Now we have a little bit of movement on top of some of the visually interesting components that we've added to this. Let me zoom into this little group. So you'll notice I'm still managing the text in groups, trying to give it a sense of organization. Now, you can also play with stacking or overlapping the information. So you'll notice that if I stack this in a particular way, the F gets lost over the M. So you might be willing to sacrifice legibility there. But another way to possibly solve this is to use the larger text as a background element for the text on the foreground. So let me send this to back, and I'm going to change altruism in design to a lighter value. The text is overlapping, but because of the contrast now, we can make out the F over the M. So you can play with different value structures, and even though they're overlapping and stacking over one another, you probably still might be able to maintain some legibility if you organize this and control this in the right way. All right, so you can see a lot of chaos, no horizontal axes. There is a lot of overlap, but we can still sort of deconstruct and rationalize the text, because the value is, the way that I've stacked the values allow me to still maintain an understanding of the characters within that really tight structure. Here's another possibility. I put this axis in this diagonal like this, and I thought, well, what if we have this structure where we have pivoted the information, but we're also going to pivot the information again within the design. And so I've drawn this axis to give me some sort of guide for positioning this information on this layout. So in a sense, it's still an implied axial system, right? So we're still playing with an axis here that's helping me organize this. But the text has somewhat of a chaotic quality to it. I get rid of this, still have a cool design, and a functioning one at that. So it's still something that we can read and work with. Let's see. So anyway, another possibility is to work with background elements. So copy, paste Move this here. And now this background element gives me another layer of visual interest within the structure. So, I can reverse the text in this darker area. So frankly, I think this is a real fun system. It's really playful. There's a lot of possibilities. You can do a lot of cool things with it. Now I'm responding to the position of these shapes and setting the text inside of it. Yeah, I think that this system has a lot of possibilities. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if the symphonies that I curated lend themselves well to this chaotic system, but you might find a solution there. Maybe you can find a way to use a system like this within it.